Greetings, beautiful souls. Now today, I have a Pleiadian wisdom and energy to share with you from Cloud Forest in the Monteverde in Costa Rica. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? Look at that. Now, you would see the visitors, obviously same like me, enjoying this beauty. And I want you to notice the quietness of the nature. And if you really listen, it's a quietness from the human civilization. It's not necessarily the quietness of the nature, because nature is never quiet. It is always growing. It is always evolving. There's always the sounds of the animals and the leaves moving in the air and lots of rains, falling down. There's always the sound, but that sound has a different frequency than the sound of our human civilization and clutter. The sound, the smell, the taste, the touch. Here has its own consciousness, the forest consciousness, right? And that itself is healing. It's very nurturing to us and to our nervous system. Especially to our nervous system, because it helps us to de-stress and calm down and really connect to that true nature of our soul within. Now, the reason why I chosen this place, or the Pleiadians guided me to choose this place, is that in the part of the Monteverde where the cloud forest is, that is where the Pacific meets the Atlantic. Look at this tree. Look how beautiful it is. How old it is. What kind of the wisdom and knowledge it has. Now, it has a consciousness and knowledge from the Pacific and from the Atlantic. Now, there's obvious logic, right? Now we want to look into the spirituality and mythology of it. So in the mythology, we know that the Pacific energy is the energy of the land of the Mu, of the Lemuria, the ancient Lemurians, which we do know or believe that the Pleiadians landed in the Lemuria or began that Lemurian civilizations. Pleiadians are soul healers. So our soul sits within our heart chakra. Soul is connected to all the emotions and knowledge and wisdom, but express it through our emotions, through love, through patience, through passion, through joy, through happiness, through pain and the suffering. And that is the stories of our life, the life on the earth and also life within this universe. So that imagine that they can be passed from the generation to generation, and that soul energy through our emotional energy, through that language of our emotions and the feelings. So that energy is deeply encoded here, because that energy of the emotions and our heart here meets the Atlantic. So in the mythology, Atlantean energy or Atlantean civilization was the highly advanced civilization of many various star nations. So there have been at least 12 different star nations who contribute toward the human DNA, because human DNA stands for the 12 plus 1. 1 stands for the human, 12 stands for the different star nations. Completely, totally different story than I want to share right now. But it is the civilization that was highly advanced in the technology, in the advancement from the science to the medical field. So it is the mind energy, right? And this universe is the mental universe, is that masculine thinking, eccentric, logical, intellectual part of ourselves. So imagine that here is this very unique consciousness everywhere around us, within the nature, within everything that we see, that creates that combination of the soul and mind consciousness into oneness. Now, as you walk through here, as you meditate through here, or sitting on the bench, you're experiencing it, you can create a little shortcut for yourself on your journey, and you can assess this consciousness. Now, in many traditions of spiritual teaching and many different kind of the teachings, it takes many years to come to these levels naturally, because there's a progression from learning to understanding to practice to creating yourself a daily routine and so much on. But as I say, it takes the years to conceive that energy into soul mind consciousness. In the Taoism, they call it that you conceive a fetus and you nourish it until it blossoms into, the golden petals of the energies. And imagine that you can come to this place and you can reach that level of the consciousness. Now, whenever there's a shortcut, there has to be a preparation for it. So Pleiadians actually do not recommend to take the shortcuts. But, the human life is limited in the time, right? And if you are a 20-year-old starting on this journey, you have plenty of time to take it slow and develop yourself and find that way. I'm working on my personal development consciously for the 20 years. So it does take a time. When you ascend to these places, when you can give it a little boost, a little speed. Now, how would you recognize that consciousness, and how would you come to this consciousness? So I talk about the good example, how to explain it, because it makes perfect sense in my head, but sometimes to find that explanation takes a little time. So imagine that there's a tree beside me with a beautiful, exotic looking fruit that neither you or I have ever seen in this lifetime. We may have seen other lifetimes, so it may look familiar, but we are not capable to recognize it. Now, if we are in this consciousness that we can't even remember anything of our past life, we're gonna pass it, and that exotic fruit literally will be invisible to us. It's gonna be hanging here on a tree, like here, and you see it. It's just beautiful, right? You see these brilliant colors of the rainbow and hanging down, and you can't see it, right? Because I'm making it up. But that's how it is in the consciousness. We cannot see it, but we can perceive it through our 5 senses. So the point that I'm getting into is that if you are not able to recognize that consciousness, if you have a lot of issues and the darkness and the brokenness inside, you can walk through this consciousness, but you will not be able to see it. Not because anybody's mean to you or want to withdraw it to you, because you are not ready. Because that carries another level of the energy that may actually not be helpful to you at the moment, because it flushes a lot of things and opens you to the other things, and it may in a way create a nightmare instead of a pleasant kind of the experience. So here we are, pretending that we can see that consciousness. Thank you. We can see that consciousness, and we will experience that through our 5 basic senses. So it is the smell, it is the taste, it is sight and the feeling, it is touch, and it is sound. So here we are in a place where the soul, heart, mind, consciousness connect into the oneness. How does it smell? It smells like forest. A beautiful, very clean, very, very clean forest. There's that mushroomy, wet wood kind of the smell. Now, how does it taste? Now that would be that beautiful fruit, we would be finally ready to take a piece of it and taste it. And then we would decide, is it sweet? Is it bitter? Is it sour? What kind of the taste it has? Now, the point with the taste is to connect it to that sense of the feeling there with that happiness. Because finding your consciousness should make you feel happy. Same like smelling the consciousness of this forest, supposed to make you feel very safe, because that's what that connection, the first chakra. So when I feel safe, and I do feel very safe here, I can allow myself to smell it without any fears, without any limitations. Just be and enjoy it. And one of my thing what I'm getting kind of over is the record these videos in the nature, because you see all of my comfort place by the fireplace, and when the people walk by, because hey, we are in the park, it is a little distracting for me. And so allowing myself to fully relax in it, in that Pleiadian consciousness, really put aside from the head, well, what I may think, what I'm talking about. That is the point when you start smelling it in the most unique way. You can even go, by the tree and smell it. Here you go, beautiful tree. And you can smell the most and feel safe. Then the taste. Well, what are we gonna do with the taste? There's definitely my made-up fruit is not there, but there's the raindrops on the leaves. And yes, I'm gonna lick them. It tastes like water, right? Very fresh water. Very unique. Fresh. Clean. Something that many of us dream when we see the new earth. I interview so many people in my readings to ask them, well, how does it smell? How did it taste that? And we all conclude that it's very clean, very fresh. And again here, when I take the raindrops from the leaf, there you go. Beautiful, clean and fresh water. So I allow myself to feel very happy in that energy of a naive child who doesn't have to worry what she's gonna cook for dinner, or how many bills she has to pay, or whatever's another responsibility in her life. It's just that happiness and joy when I can walk and I stomp my feet in the mud and get dirty, and it doesn't matter whatever is going to happen. The water tastes actually really good. So that is how I taste the consciousness. The heart-mind consciousness would guide me to the right thing. I do believe when that union happens, it's not going to guide me to the poisonous kind of the thing. It will guide me toward something that's really, really beneficial for me, that's very good for me. That's going to only help me and assist me on this journey. Then there's a sight, right? So I'm sharing all that sight with you. Seeing is feeling. If I close my eyes and I touch the tree, I know there's a tree, and now there's this little branches growing over it. I know there's a moss that is soft, and I would know the end is crawling over my hand, right? But when I'm feeling it, first of all, I can already smell the tree, beautiful scent of it on my hand. I can taste the water, and I close my eye. I know for 100% this is true. There is a tree below my hand. There's I'm touching the tree and the branches, and I'm in the forest, and the branches are touching me. That's it. So that is my sight, that is my perception. I allow myself to perceive that I'm perceiving it is my heart and my mind. I'm feeling it. I feel safe. I feel happy. Remember, I suddenly feel this admiration and gratitude to be here and for the beautiful technology. So my feeling is the Lemurian feeling, right? I feel safety, I feel happiness, I feel love, I feel gratitude, I feel very emotional just to feeling it. And here I use my Atlantean energy, my beautiful mind, technology. So I have an iPhone. I know I don't have a sophisticated recording, equipment, but hey, this is fabulous. And so I'm using the sophisticated technology, the Atlantean mind, to share all of this with you. So by seeing this, seeing myself recording literally the video here for you, this experience it for you, and feeling it, that is where the unions start happening. Now, the next sense is touch. The sense of the touch is connected to our fourth chakra and to our hands, to our arms. I touch. And the healing from the tree shares the healing with me, or I can share my healing with the tree. I can share the love of my soul, my heart, with the happiness of my mind with the tree, and I ask it to be carried inside of the earth, and from the earth inside of the tree and back to me, and from the tree up into the universe and back to me and to everyone who wants to experience this consciousness, everyone who stops for a moment and a smell and a taste and see and feel and touch and the sound. So you hear my voice and you hear all the sound of the nature. That sound is the gift of our human, extraterrestrial, multidimensional consciousness, whichever way you would like to call it. It is such an incredible gift because the sound will activate you. If there's something that's sounding really fearful, right? Activate our fight, flight response. Or it can activate our multidimensional consciousness. So within the body, we are able to hold our 5D consciousness, which is the love of the soul and happiness of the mind, or the 7-dimensional consciousness when we become aware of everything. When you start seeing the things in the thin air, where you perceive this consciousness and you start understanding it. See? Nothing is hidden away from us. Everything is in the plain sight. Yet we will have to be able to bring our consciousness to that level of consciousness. So it means, and we are able to perceive it. So again, I may have walked through this forest. This is actually my first time here. But many times in my life, I would not be able to perceive it until now, when I really feel that emotions and a beautiful logical mind to meet. Now, I've been practicing actually the meditations and reading a lot of books, same as all of you. So for me, it's coming in the whole big circle after 2 decades of the practice. And it is beautiful and it's incredible. But as we walk on this journey, when we come to this whole circle, we become teachers. And our job is to make it, let's say, a little bit shorter for the others. Same like those who walked the path before us, amazing teachers, amazing souls, walking in the human bodies, writing the books, teaching us, sharing their knowledge and the wisdom with us. They make it faster and shorter for us to be within this consciousness. It is our job to make it a little bit faster and clear and understandable for those who walk the path after us to be in this consciousness, because in this consciousness everything is possible. You can change your reality, you can heal, you can create a life that you never thought would be available to you, for you, because you may think that okay, I have this soul contract and I'm doing this and that, and it's what I prepare for my life. Well, once you come to that consciousness, you can change everything. Look at this magnificent forest. There are so many big fallen trees, and when talking with the people who work here, they say, there's a lot of wetness and the rain, and eventually the trees are just, to push down away and the new trees grow. And I want you to think about your soul contracts exactly the same way. You can pull out what you don't need anymore, and you can utilize it in the most wonderful way, but you have to come to that gratitude, appreciation, and all the way of what did you learn from it? Because only then we can let it go and we can grow new trees, new plants, new life patterns with that. So this is my sharing with you from the cloud forest. I chosen to do it in the middle of the forest and showing you all this gorgeous view and everything up there. And I talk for quite a while so you can feel its consciousness. That we can both sit here a little bit in that our inner human quietness and really be in that consciousness where our heart and the mind meets, where the emotions and our logical thinking is fully harmonized, for the reason that we can create a future for ourselves, for our children, for everybody who comes after us, because Earth is a magnificent place to be on, to experience, to live. And as an ancient aliens, we did believe that that's what it is and that's what it will be. And that's why you keep reincarnating over and over and over. We just sometimes get caught up in our past lives and our current life and its misfortune, because we are programmed to believe that we have a misfortune or we came here to suffer, we have to suffer or pay off to whoever karmas. It's all lie. I believe in that in a long time. The truth is that the God's consciousness, remember the Rio Celeste when I made you the video? God's consciousness created this place for us so we can be whoever we would like to be. There are no limitations. There are no limitations in your way of the feeling emotionally about them. There are no limitations with you thinking about them. If these two aspects meet, it's like the female and the male. They make a baby, if they choose to, right? If they are in that consciousnness. And that's where you are truly reborn. That's when you truly walk into your over self, owning your feminine, your soul, your emotions, and your masculine, your mind, your Lemurian part of yourself, and your Atlantean part of yourself. So I like to call this Lemurians, and I will make a wish that one day I will write a book about it, Lemurians, where the Lemuria and Atlantis meet in the one beautiful, powerful consciousness of harmony, because that is the most powerful knowledge that we may possibly have. And now the time, the third part of it will come. How do you use that knowledge in your everyday life? What you will create, how you will contribute to this world, to this society, how you will put aside all your hurt feelings and find the joy within you and experience the life to its beauty and the fullness. So you create a way of life that is inspiring for the others to follow. So with that, I'm gonna continue on my journey. I love you and I am deeply touched. I can share this with you. This is my last touring actually in the Costa Rica. So Cloud Forest is the last spot before heading to San Jose and the airport and back home and create back at home the inspiring life that is inspiring for myself and the others to follow. And definitely I'm inspired to write several of the books. So I love you. I'm sending you healing from here. Just spend a little time of the quietness. Love and light from my heart to yours. Pura Vida.